What's up guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a quick DIY video. I'm actually doing this in a collaboration with Sariea from DreamItDIY. So thank you Sariea for asking me to do this. I have not made a pair of ears on it or did a DIY video in a really long time. And so Sariea had reached out to me and she was like, let's do something. And I was like, sure. So thank you so much for letting me try and expand my creativity and inviting me to participate in this very cool villains DIY, which I have on my ears right now, on my head. I have two sets of ears. But you guys know that I love the villains. I wanted to try and make a very short DIY. I know that it is very fast. If you guys have any questions specifically about any of the process, I will do my best to answer them in the comments, but without further ado, check out these ears. It says I've got friends on the other side. So let's hop into it. Okay, so to begin, I took some fabric that I had on hand. I used purple fabric. You could kind of be lenient about what kind of color you want, but I'm taking my ear templates, my cutting line, and my sewing line. I know for sure Sariea has these documents or these templates on her YouTube channel, so if you don't have them, go check them out. I also have my headband template. I end up folding my fabric in half. It's just way easier for me to cut, and I end up always cutting a lot of headband fabric. And then here I am in the Cricut software. I bought these files on Etsy. I think they were like $2 each maybe. I was actually going to draw out the designs, but it was just way easier for me to buy them. I ended up drawing out other designs, but for any of the iron-on vinyl, you want to make sure that it is shiny side down, and you want to make sure that you're mirroring your image. Here I am sewing my ears. I always back stitch, then forward stitch, and then back stitch again to finish off my my edges, and then I flip them inside out after I trim around the ears as well. If you are not someone that likes to sew your ears, you can absolutely hot glue them as well. Here I am weeding out some of the heat transfer vinyl. So just as a reminder, because everyone makes this mistake all the time, you want to make sure that your heat transfer vinyl is shiny side down, with the carrier sheet down, and then mirror your image. I really liked these little ghosty people, these like little Dr. Facilier spirits, his friends on the other side. I haven't seen anyone make ears that had his friends on the other side, so that's what I was really interested in. These two files actually had a lot of really small details. Oh, there's my head. So it did take me a while to weed these out. If you're someone that loves weeding, you will love that. I'm not someone who particularly likes it. It's more stressful for me. But I really enjoy these files. I will leave a link down to the shops that I bought these from. And the other design that I end up doing, which you'll see later, I drew out myself. But I'm taking my headband. I always line it with double stick tape. That's just easy for me to line my headband and then add glue. This is how I've been doing it for years. If you like lining your headbands in a different way, that's totally fine. You do you, boo. And I just use the hot glue to cover my headband. I inevitably go in with some braided trim to cover up that seam as well. But here I am taking my heat transfer vinyl and I'm putting that down using my tiny heat press. I love this heat press. I'll also leave a link down to this because I use it for all sorts of things, and it's like maybe $50. There are probably other like knockoff brands, but I have a Cricut version. So I'm taking both of my heat transfer vinyl pieces and putting them onto my ears. I always measure them out to be sort of the size of what the ear is supposed to be, just because that's how I like my ears. You can change the sizing of it. I typically don't make anything wider than 3.5 inches. Those were a little bit long as well, but however big you want to make your ears, you can choose the sizing of these files if you end up using them. I always get a lot of questions about my foam that I use as well. I typically use 1/4 inch foam for my ears because I like to turn them into little foam tacos, and then that one jumped out of my hand. I turn them into foam tacos so I could slide them into my ears, and then I use polyfill to stuff them. I know everyone has different kinds of stuffing they like and the way that they like to stuff their ears. I personally like my ears to be a little bit more stuffed than most people. So to each their own, everyone can make their own preferences. That's what's really fun about doing DIY projects, is that you get to make them do how you like them. I'm also leave a link down to the headbands that I use, because I get a lot of questions about the headbands that I use. A lot of people know that I have chronic migraine. I can't wear the park ears really because my head is very large as well, and I just get migraines from wearing them. I always leave a little bit of fabric on the very edges of my ears so I could fold them in, as you saw, like little tabs. And then I measured out my ears where the placements are going to go. And I always do this with a Posca paint marker as well. And so I find the center of the headband. It might vary on your headband. Everyone's headbands are going to be just a little bit different. And then 4 millimeters from each of those center dots to the left and to the right, I make a mark for where my placement of the ears are going to go. I always hand sew my ears. If you don't like doing that, you can hot glue them. Here I am. I took a 9x11 rectangle piece of fabric. I'm using sort of like almost like a faux leather piece of fabric. Good sides together. I sew that down, and then I fold good sides together again with the seam on the outside. And then I have my little square for my bow. I want to make sure it's kind of in the middle when I start to accordion fold my bow. So I just do accordion folds, and then in between each of the folds I put little dollops of hot glue. I hold it there for just about 30 seconds or so while it dries. And then I have a small piece of fabric that I use to just cover the center of the bow. I always leave myself extra space for my bows just because you can always take away, but it's hard to add in extra fabric. So I always give myself a little bit of extra fabric when I'm making ears, just in case I mess up, because I am human and that tends to happen a lot. For this design, I actually drew it myself on Procreate, so I ended up doing just a top hat and his skeleton face. I wish I knew how to share these files. I don't know how to do that. They probably have similar files on Etsy if you'd like to add this, but I put it on some purple foam, craft foam. Oh, I also drew out the skull, and then I took a Posca paint marker, red Posca paint marker, just to add that little stripe on the center, and there you have it. I'm adding some of the braided trim, and I will leave a link down to this as well, the ones that I use to cover the seam of the headband, and that's pretty much the ears. So I will also say that I ended up last minute putting in the friends on the other side. I couldn't get over the irony of them being on the other side of the ears either. And so I was like, they're literally on the other side. So I thought it was very funny. A lot of you guys know I like dad jokes, but that's the finished pair of ears. And so I hope you guys enjoyed them. I just went in and typed in, I have friends on the other side, and did the same process with the heat transfer vinyl. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said before, if you have any questions specifically about the DIY process, please let me know. I will do my best to answer the questions. I know that this was a fast video. I personally have a hard time watching very long DIY videos, so I do try to speed up the process just a little bit. If you have any questions in particular, you might be able to find some of them in my other DIY videos, so I'll try and link a playlist to some of my other DIYs. I have made lots of ears before, so check that out. There's a lot of other videos too if you need more comprehensive videos about maybe the Cricut or Procreate, just because I didn't go in depth about some of those processes. But thank you so much. Please go check out Sariea's video. I know Sariea is going to crush it with these Dr. Facilier ears. I've never made a pair of Dr. Facilier ears, so I'm very excited about them. And so once again, thank you, Sariea, for inviting me to do this. I'm so happy I got to explore some Dr. Facilier and Halloween ears, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you all real soon. Bye.